Please follow our Instagram.
Hey guys, so I was supposed to post this video last week, but my MacBook was so full I couldn't edit any of the videos, so I ended up posting this week instead. So first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for that. I'm going to show you how I make this Brite Tone tumbler because it was also my sister's wedding last week. If you can see, the Brite tumbler is all done up only because I did that using epoxy last year, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just going to add water slides to the all done up epoxy tumbler, and then I will do the Groom's tumbler from scratch. Also, if you can see, my epoxy tumbler is actually turning yellow. Ugh. So the first thing you have to do is obviously to sand down, which I already have. Please don't forget to sand down your tumblers. And then after that, I use black glass. Always do the first layer thinly. That is my way of doing it. Once that's dried, I put on my second coat of black glass. And for the second coat, I do a thin layer as well. And if you're like me, I tend to sometimes overbrush my tumbler, and this is exactly what you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be brushing your brush to the sides of the container because it will only allow bubbles to form even more, because you're allowing the air to go into the brush, and thus when you're brushing it, you're creating more bubbles on the tumbler. So at this point, I feel like I'm not going to achieve the streakless tumbler because I have introduced so much bubbles onto the tumbler, and I don't have much time because I needed to give this tumbler the next day. So usually by my second or third coat of black gloss, I would have a streakless tumbler, but not for this case. So I decided to do a different method, which is to use the Cricut with a little bit of Brite Tone. So if I'm being very honest with you, this is actually my first time doing this because I have seen a lot of people having success with this method, but I think my Cricut was a bit gritty, maybe because I didn't shake it well enough, but I'm not so sure. But it wasn't turning out exactly the way I want it to, because as you can see from my tumbler, it's actually a little bit bumpy, but I just decided to go with it. So for this, I'm using the Liquid Mica in silver. Usually my husband does this with alcohol inks, but because we needed to give this gift the next day, so we didn't really have time to wait 24 hours to let the alcohol ink to dry, and thus we decided to use this Liquid Mica instead. As you can see, the person who's doing it is actually my husband, so I'm just going to vaguely describe to you how I think he does it. He dips into the mica. He used very little of the mica liquid, and then he starts dabbing it diagonally. So how you want it to be is the top and the bottom of the diagonal should be thin, and the middle should be thicker. And at this point, I'm actually asking my husband to make it bigger and put more mica on that area, because I need the area to be white so that you can actually see my water slide, because the transparent water slide only works with a light background. So that's why he's doing a big patch of mica at that area. And so this is how it looks like after it's done. I think if I were to have an option to either use alcohol ink or this mica liquid ever again, I would choose the liquid mica in a heartbeat. I mean, for this design at least. So after the liquid mica has dried, so I'm going to clean the lid as I go before I apply my Brite Tone. I'm actually using acetone to wipe it off with this magic sponge. I'm not sure what is it called, but I call it magic sponge. And then after that, I will apply my first coat of Brite Tone. Once that's dry about 2 to 3 hours, I apply my second coat of Brite Tone. Always apply it thinly. So I had to sand down this part because I am going to put my water slide there and I needed it to be very smooth. And water slides will show the imperfections if it's not smooth. So I lightly sand the area, and after that I kind of actually over sanded this area because I was quite annoyed that it was not flattened yet. So as you can see, there's a big patch of baldness there. But after that, I wipe it down and then I use Brite Tone just on the same area as well, and then let dry. So now I'm going to go into the Brite tumbler, and this is the water slide that I'm using. It's a transparent water slide that I have already coated with Rust-Oleum clear spray 3 times. And then I'm just doing a check right here. Once you can move it from its backing, that means it's ready to be placed onto the tumbler. And then take a paper towel and then dab it. And I usually use this tiny little spatula to so-called scrape off all the water that was underneath, in between of the tumbler and the water slide. Gently scrape it off. The Brite Tone has already dried. I actually put it in front of the fan so to expedite the drying process. So after that, I put on the water slide. So the reason why I actually had to put on the Brite Tone first before putting on the water slide was because I actually sanded it down. So if I were to have just placed the water slide and not put the Brite Tone, you can actually see the lines of the water slide because it's not a shiny backing. After I apply the water slide, I put on my Brite Tone. I actually waited like around 10 minutes in front of, I let it dry in front of a fan for 10 minutes, and then I put on my Brite Tone. And this is my second coat of Brite Tone. In case you're wondering, the word groom is actually also done using Waterslide because using a vinyl will be too thick and I needed more layers then. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and this is the outcome. I think it looks quite neat. If I had a few more days, I would definitely put more coats because although it's already sealed, I can still feel a little bit of that water slide on the tumbler. So if you guys enjoy this, please like, subscribe and share to all your friends, and I hope to be doing a giveaway in the future. Bye bye.
That's right.